Lesson 53. Today we will review the following. As I've talked about before, that because these lessons are an amount lessons, we're looking through the first 50 lessons again through review in 51, 52, 53, and so on. So that like this is going to go through lesson 53, we're going to review 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So what I've tried to do is, one, not only post these so that you can see where we're at, but also kind of talk about in a different way how the amalgamation or the sum of some of these lessons have come out. So my meaningless thoughts, number 11, is my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Number 12 is I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Number 13 is a meaningless world engenders fear. Number 14 is God did not create a meaningless world. Number 15 are my thoughts are images that I have made. So if you listen to 52, and I was summing up those 5 lessons in an experience I talked about where I had tried to sublet an apartment from a cousin and knew it was a bad idea, and every instinct said it was a bad idea. My family and friends convinced me it was a good idea to help my cousin. It turned out into a horrendous thing, like I was able to extricate myself. And as I'm pulling myself together on my friend's couch, her mother dies in her arms after I had this kind of space of seeing a hazy thing around her mother. So I'm like, okay, all right. So get back to the apartment, and I'm waiting because my friend, her family had picked her up from the hospital where her mother had passed away in her arms as she thought she was bringing her home. And so, we're back and forth on the phone, and they're going to bring her back to the apartment. They're going to bring her back to the apartment. So finally, that afternoon they do. And I believe it was Thanksgiving week. So we just had the big dinner, I believe probably that Thursday or Friday. And so she comes back, and of course she's a mess because this came out of nowhere. Because her mother had had the stroke, gone into the hospital, been fine, completely recovered, and then as she's packing a month later, dies in the bathroom in my friend's arms. So my friend's a mess. She comes in the house with a mess, and she's talking and she's blubbering and just all kinds of things, and I'm crying and stuff like that. And then she's like, how could this happen? How could this happen? How could this happen? And I'm being present. Sometimes when people are going through stuff, all you can do is you can just be there. That, there is no messiness that they can't have in front of you. That you are a completely open and safe space. And so she starts rambling into a sense of meaninglessness. That, this can't be, this is insanity, this is how can someone get well and then die, and how can this happen, and part of it is the grief, and part of it is the pain, and part of it is she's saying, how can this happen to me, and how can, I thought that everything was okay. And part of what she was talking about was that the meaning that she had assigned to the world with her mother's life, with their relationship, with her health, all of that had crumbled. It had just suddenly, and I'm like, whoa. You are taking this someplace unhealthy. You are taking this someplace that is not within the realm of God. And she's like, what? And I'm like, how dare you take this there? I said, your mother, her mother and her father, they made her, and then her mother birthed her. And I was like, your mother was there to birth you. And you were there in her last moment for her physical exit from this realm and this space. How dare you question that I can see the purpose, the destiny, the meaning in this? That if there was any place that she could be, where else would she be but with her only daughter? and she's like, boy, she's like, and I'm like, no, you can't assign meaninglessness. This is just some random chaotic thing. No, this is step by step, by life, by year, by intentionality, by where else would you want to die as a parent other than with your adult child? And where else would your adult child want to be other than with you in the moment? And she's like, oh my God, only you would tell me to stop with, grief. And I was like, yeah, there's grief. And then there's assigning insane meaninglessness to what is deeply predicated in God, if you look at this. And yes, because you're going through all these things of what you're going to do, what's going to happen, blah blah blah, all these other different relationships, and your brother, and blah blah blah, and all of this. You're finding fear in this because you're not looking at God in this. So what I will offer, and then I will probably the next couple of lessons, that as we get to lesson 15, my thoughts are images that I have made. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. So if you see in that, as someone dying in your arms, if you see in that chaos, the universe just blasting and all kinds of things, and as I shared in the previous lesson, there was a moment where I was inviting her to a company, large Thanksgiving celebration thing that they put together right next door to the building she was in. 100 people, beautiful, lots of food, wonderful, complete, free invitation. And I heard in the moment, and there was this silence between us, and, of she'd been going every day to care for her mother at the rehab, get her ready, and this was to be the last day where she was to leave. And I said, you know what? No, go, just go. And I could have pushed her the other way. But there was I remember distinctly a silence, I call it a feather, in the moment where and she wouldn't have been there. And so she was there. And I said, you see all of the things that came together for that. So now let's look at our thoughts. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts, because my thoughts, I see God in just everything, just annoyingly in everything. It is my thoughts that tell me where I am and what I am, that I am where I'm supposed to be, that I am who I am supposed to be, that there is nothing about me that is not divinely intended, that every little bit and piece and every little step that I make and every little action and choice, that there is not only an alignment, but with that perception comes a responsibility. The fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I am seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts, and am not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent light on what I see. As I said to her, you can have your crazy thoughts. You can be crazy. And you can suffer. And yes, you can perceive this as loss, and you can perceive this as death. But I don't see it that way. And so one of the things I said to her, and I'll share in further lessons, yet God's way is sure. The images I have made cannot prevail against him, because it is not my will that they do so. My will is his, and I will place no other gods before him. And what this means is that if you choose to perceive, you can't not perceive. I will tell you the harsh, ruthless truth about enlightenment. You can't go back. You really can't go back. It's been 20 years now, and my head got blown in lots of ways 20 years ago, and fixed some things and opened some things. And I've never been able to go back. And there are moments where I envy those who are in the illusion. I'm like, damn, it looks fun to be blind and deluded. Well, it looks fun for 10 minutes. So, what I will offer you is that in the next lessons, I'll talk about how this situation with my friend's mother dying then healed me for death in the future. As always, I am Kyle Phoenix. It's the Kyle Phoenix Show. We are talking about A Course in Miracles, lesson 53, which encapsulates 11 through 15. And we're going to go on to lesson 54 and into that encapsulation. You, as always, can email me at kylephoenixshow@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. You can type Kyle Phoenix into Google, and you can see the books and stuff that I've written, fiction and nonfiction, as well as all the other videos. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.